You're muted. Make sure the tweet goes out. And it says we're offline, which is probably not a good thing. Except OBS says we're streaming, so I don't know who to believe. Well, I guess I'll do a tentative start. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is December 6th, and this is the December 6th TextQuest Devstream. Ugh. I have trouble saying 6th. 6th. Apparently, 6th. Anyway, so tonight we're going to be working on the woods level. Continuing on where we left off last time, I've done a little bit more work. The big thing is I've added trees, obviously, and I have also added a new vertex painted ground type. So now we can again get different footsteps depending on the specific texture that we're walking on. It doesn't seem to quite be perfect. In fact, it's got some issues similar to when we first did the original Vertex Ground Painter. Vertex Ground... Whoa! What is up with that? My FOV is tiny. Oh, it's because I'm super scaled up. Okay. Okay. So as we walk around, you can hear, you know, it's not quite doing what you would think. Like this, if you listen, is grass, dirt, dirt, and then we occasionally randomly seem to go to grass. So I'm still working on that. I'm not entirely sure why it seems to be randomly flipping between the two. I mean, it is at least detecting the correct ground types, but it doesn't seem to be getting with 100% accuracy the correct vertice that you are on, would be my guess. So I'm still working on that. But aside from that, the goal for tonight is going to be to get this entrance level, or this entrance section, completely functional. And that means having the wrapping work so that you constantly teleport back in, if you go off to the side. Doing that in a way that makes it not apparent that you are actually being wrapped. And making sure that going down the right path will take you to a new location, while going down the incorrect path will either put you out on a different path. In this case, I think I'm going to have this path just constantly have you teleport back. So it's sort of a Mario infinite staircase type deal. And then, of course, we need to have support for leaving the woods level and going back to the plains. And then we need to have I'm calling it the forest wall for now. I don't really know what else to call it. But that would basically be when you get close to this particular edge, there will be a physical wall as opposed to a soft gradient that tells you you can't pass this area because it's supposed to be the start of the woods level. So the reason I want to do this entrance level or this entrance section tonight is because it basically has all of the types of interaction we're going to need in terms of trying to leave an area. It's going to have, an exit to a completely different level. It has an exit to a correct next chunk, I guess, and it has an exit that is meant to just loop back in and confuse you. In addition to, of course, having, regular non-path related outings. So the first thing I'm going to talk about real quick is that in experimenting, actually I guess I'll just show you why I talk when I can show you. I have noticed that it takes about 2.5, of course I say maximize on play and then I don't actually want that here. It takes about 2.5 sections or chunks, which are these individual pieces here, which are 10 by 10 planes. It takes about 2.5 of those for your vision to fade out due to fog, which means that I need about 2.5 units of buffer before I am not able to see this hard edge. You can see right now that I'm really, really close to the edge of the level, and I can actually see the hard cutoff for when it just stops being there. Now, if I turn around, you can see that I can just barely make out the tree to the right of the tree in the center of the screen. And let's go ahead and crouch and then pause. If we come down here, since we don't have the fog effect in the scene view, you can see that that means it's this tree right here. So that tree is, as I said, a little under 2.5 things away. So I need about 25 units worth of visual buffer before things can fade out seamlessly. And that means that I basically need to double the amount of buffer that I have. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is, instead of structuring it as a 3x3 grid with a 5x5 external surrounding grid, I'm going to have the 3x3 grid be the center or the core of the individual section, and then a buffer area, which is actually where the teleportation will take place. Oh, geez, again? This is interesting. I want to see what these guys ended up doing. Okay, good. And then outside of this buffer, we'll actually have a third grouping, which is, it's never meant to be set foot on. It is purely to prevent you from going out and seeing the edge of the map. So, and that buffer, well, I guess we don't want to call it buffer. Actually, I might call this, instead of buffer, I might call this warp zone. And then we'll have a 2x2 buffer area that is purely so that you don't see the edge when you teleport. And of course, this will have the added benefit, expanding our central area. You know what, actually, I guess that's true. I can kind of just move the warp zone into the center and keep this being called buffer. So I can grab these guys and just move them here into the center. So now my center is 5x5, and my buffer will be, two paddings on each side. Although actually that's not quite good enough, is it? I will need, I would really prefer not to do half measures, like literally half of a unit. Well, you know what, let's just start building and see what ends up happening. Because originally when we first started doing these section layouts, we had 3x3 grids of 3x3, which means that we had 30 units, which is, as we've discovered here, appropriate. So I might just end up making my buffer zone be a full 3 10x10 planes deep. Might as well. It just means that I'm going to have some very, very long, geez. See, this is actually one of the concerns here, is that by having 5x5 grids and as a level layout like this, let me go ahead and turn off the cube. I was using this cube as a barrier to make it easy for me to judge when I was right up against where you would be teleporting. That means that this entire area is now an area that you would be able to walk around in and actively. I guess it's not really that bad if you think about it, because you can just barely make out the path from this area, which, you know what, that's actually not bad. That's kind of good. We do have a bit of a challenge here. Well, maybe not. We'll have to be creative with this. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad then. I was a little worried it was going to be too large, but I think this is manageable. Because part of this is you want to make sure that it's small, it's large enough that people can get quote unquote lost in it, metaphorically speaking, not actually lost, and small enough that people aren't going to be able to make a mental map of everything. So I think 5x5 is fine, and then we'll have a 3x3 buffer on everything, which, let's see, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to grab all of these guys, and we're kind of just going to move you here. So now, and of course it's going to make me do a half if I want it to be nice and even. So let me just do a quick count. 2, 4, 5, good. 2, 4, 5, and I guess that would be crap. Nope, that's right. 2, 4, 5. Okay. So yeah, that's in the middle of this chunk. So we're looking at basically something that's slightly larger than a 50 by 50 grid. It's a little big, but I think it's fine. All right. Now the question here actually becomes, I feel like my entrance is for some reason off. Yeah, okay, super weird. Well, then let's just grab these guys and move them again. So we're going to put you here, put you here. Okay, so again, we're looking at 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5. All right. So we're back on track. So now we can start laying out the groundwork for the external buffer layer. And once we have this in, hopefully it'll sort of come together in terms of how everything looks when you're warping. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. I think I have a rogue debug still coming up. Let me fix that real quick. I was debugging the polybrush ground here to try and determine what color of the vertices I was stepping on, and it just was not returning the stuff that I was hoping for. Let's see, where are you? Huh. I don't quite. No, but I will drag this back over here so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Well, let's just start walking. See what happens. Oh, you know what I bet's going to happen? I'm going to fall through the sky. Because I forgot to move my spawn point. Yeah. It's kind of important. Let's put you back over here. Alright. And we're off. Alright. So, let's see. Where's this debug coming from? Color extensions, that's right. Because I was trying to debug that and make sure it was correct. Alright. So that should fix that. And, of course, let's just go ahead and add a couple of things to make sure that the console doesn't freak out. Let's see. Collection manager. Of course you did. Come on. I know you're compiling. Come on. You can do it, Unity 5.5. Come on. There we go. Collection manager. Alright. We're not going to worry about that. We'll just have it be 0 for now. Just so it stops spamming us with the warning. Alright. So let's go ahead and start adding these next areas. And this is going to be fun. So let's look at a buffer of... let's see here. And actually, this one's going to be a weird buffer because we're not going to have it on all 4 sides. We are actually going to have the buffer be on 3 of the sides. Because this very, very bottom... Well, actually, no, we will have some buffer here. But this very, very bottom edge is going to be a wall for the most part. Because that is, as I said earlier, the start of the forest level, and therefore it would be the entrance to the plains, which needs to have sort of a special entrance look to it. So let's go ahead and start laying out the stuff for the other buffer areas, so these 3 walls. And let's come all the way. Okay, fine. I will select this then. There we go. Let's see, I don't need the ends. I do need a bunch of grass, though. So let's drag this into the buffer. Okay. And, oh, why the heck are you in that mode? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab this, move it over here, hit F, and we're going to move it down. Alright, and let's go ahead and just duplicate this, and duplicate it one more time. Alright, so now we can start duplicating these guys en masse and just dragging them through. Duplicate all these guys. All these guys. And I think this one is actually going to need to be erased. Oof. I'm pretty sure that's going to end up being part of the angle path here. So let's go ahead and we're going to duplicate this and move this down here to the buffer. And actually, you know what? Because I was stupid, what I should be doing is this. Duplicate you, move you down here. Start you off with just ground grass. Might as well duplicate the trees while I'm at it so I don't have to individually go back and position them. Because part of the challenge when we're doing this world wrapping is, again, we need to make sure that everything is exactly the same. Otherwise, we'll run into trouble down the line trying to get everything to line up properly when we teleport. Because if even one pixel is off when you teleport, it's going to be. It might not seem like it's a lot when you're looking at it in still motion. However, it will. Oh dear, I might have duplicated something twice. No, never mind. It just. Nope, I did. Dang it. I knew it would happen. Well, while I'm here, might as well move this up and over to here. Ta-da. All right. Let's go ahead and go back here. Duplicate these guys. Move them up. Duplicate these guys again. Move them up. And okay, I think that's all we needed it to do. Yep, looks like everything's fine. All right. And again, we're going to delete this last one because it is not correct. It'll need to be a corner piece. And let's see. Probably duplicate one more. Duplicate, and I'm just going to drag you up to here. Okay. So now we can start getting a couple of other guys. Oh, what the heck did I do? There we go. Jeez. It's hard for me to pick out which ones are chunks anymore. So let's duplicate you. We're going to move you down here to the buffer. And we're going to put you right here. And we're going to duplicate you one more time. Same thing, we're just going to slide them over. Nice and easy. Don't have to do much there. We'll duplicate you, slide you up, and over. And last one is this one. God, I need some more convenient way of doing this. Oh yes, and for those who are long-time viewers, I'm going to just do this level by hand. I did start work, if you remember a while back, on a tool to sort of automatically lay these things out based on section and chunk type. But I feel like, one, that's needless tooling because I will never, in the rest of the game, do that. It is... Oh, shit. Did I move it directly? I would not doubt it if I did. No, I didn't. Okay. So let's duplicate this. I just needed to move one down here too. So I'm just going to position these things by hand because it doesn't really make sense to go through the effort of making a tool to automatically populate this based on a design that I have to think up anyway. Alright, so the rest is, again, going to be grass. So let's start with you. I'm going to duplicate this. Drag you over to here. And let's see. We'll duplicate you again. Go over here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I need one more layer, don't I? Yep. Because I need it to be 3 by 3. So that was me being stupid. Get rid of these guys. And we are going to grab you, duplicate you, move you up one, and down over. Shazam. Let's grab you, duplicate you. This will be our final edge, fortunately. Put you there, and last one will be... Dang it, why can I never grab this corner? I always seem to get confused visually. Alright, now everything is grass. So, let's duplicate this. Move you over here. Okay. Duplicate again. And this is going to be really fun, by the way, trying to judge how performant this is going to be. Because I would like to think, it's not going to be too bad. Move you over here. And when I was running tests earlier, I was actually pleasantly surprised to find that I was hitting about 40... No, it was 30 set pass calls, which is, that's pretty good considering the scope of the level. Of course, that is only one section. However, since you won't be able to see other sections until you actually get to them, I'm not too worried about performance. So basically, as long as I can I can make each individual section performant, it should be fine. Okay, so let's see here. We're gonna duplicate you, move you over, duplicate you, move you over, and duplicate one more time. Move you over, and let's see, 3, 3. This is gonna be fun. Duplicate. Ah, so close. I should have only done the... dang it. Right. Of course, those are going to be out of order now. I was doing so well in naming. Now we're just going to have random numbers jump up. Yep. 41, 2, and 7? I don't know. Let's see here. Let's go ahead, and while I'm getting these guys, I might as well duplicate these. Move them to the other side. Duplicate these. Down. That way. That way. Alright. So the last thing to do is just duplicate this guy, the path. Hello, Garrett. Going pretty well. Doing some quick level design on the entrance for the forest level. This, and then we should be able to wander around and have it be, even though we won't have warping turned on yet, it will be, I need to hit Command D there, but let's see, it will be seamless viewing in terms of what you would be able to see before you warped. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and maximize on play. So you can get around, it doesn't look too bad. Oof, I might need to do work on these tree placements. That's not too bad, it's just minor irritation, because they're like really, really flat on the left and pretty well spaced out on the right. So we can keep running for a while, that's good. And as a quick test, I am going to, let's delete this cube. Let's see. What do... Actually, no, screw it. We're just going to go ahead and get into warping. No reason to do a test barrier when we can just warp. So let's go ahead. And I know this isn't going to work quite the way we want yet, but I will say it's fine for now. Let's go to center. Now, will center behave properly? Are we lucky? Yes, we are. Sort of. It's not quite going to do what we want, but let's try it anyway. Let's see. I guess I called it wrap zone. Yes. Okay. Let's see. We're going to do wrapping X, Y, and Z. Oh, right. I think I need to tell it to update bounds. There we go. Let's... Here we are. Make it a trigger. And we should get wrapping at the very least. So it might not work. It's obviously not going to work perfectly unless we're in a very specific spot for now, but that should be fine. So I'm just going to run this way for a while. Oh my god. I forgot to turn off mirroring on the Y. Mirror Y. Yeah, that was... Whoops. Okay. Let's try that again. I'll run this way for a while. I am not... I guess I don't want to mirror. That makes sense. Mirroring... Oh, right. Mirroring was a weird way of teleporting you to the other side of the thing when you hit it. All I care about is the actual wrapping. Okay. Crap. So, I mean, it wraps, but look. Teleported. 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 You can see it on the right if you're paying attention. Well, if you're even slightly looking over there, you can see it. And in the center, you can actually see the tree in the far distance clip there. So, okay. Not super great, but I actually knew that that was going to be a problem. I just wanted to make sure that my wrapping still worked. Because we're going to have another problem if I just run off in this direction. I'll be teleported blatantly, like back to the beginning. And how we're going to solve this is instead of having one big TQ wrap zone here, we're actually going to have a individual wrap zone on each of these corners. So on each one of these parts. And then we will just simply have it wrap to a very specific one. That will prevent it from being visible, though it might be difficult with this. This T right here makes things very, very, very annoying. Actually, I, I'm not sure if I can make this wrap seamlessly with these paths right here at the top left. Because part of the problem is, if we look at this from a top-down perspective, well, yeah, screw it. Let's just look at it from here. Is if I try to leave from, say, this middle section, where could I possibly warp to that would have this be visible as part of it? Because the problem isn't necessarily when you're running off into the distance. It's actually a problem for when you are looking backwards. Oh no, the services thing, it's been doing that forever. Ever since I turned services on, it just does that. I can probably turn it off by just closing the services tab. And my guess is that it's just the refresh call to make sure that the services thing doesn't time out. Yeah, if you close the tab, I'm guessing that it'll stop that. Honestly, there's no reason for me to have the services tab open. I just like to have it in case I need it for anything. Okay. So, okay. I don't know if it did it in 5.3. I know that it did do it in 5.4. So I think the next thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to make a woods barrier here, which is just going to be a wall. And then we will be able to have an actual wall be here. So let's go ahead and go real quick to the forest ground modeling level. Ta-da! And we're going to do a very, very simple plane. So we're going to go to Pro Builder Layout. All right. And let's go ahead and do a new shape. But yeah, the services tab is nice just because it lets you see what all you have on. And it does give you shortcuts to those actual services, but I actually haven't used them much besides just making sure that they're on. Anyway, so let's go ahead and we're going to make a plane. Let's zero it out first, and we're going to make its initial orientation forward. That should be fine. Aha! And we will make its width segments 1 and 1. We actually don't need 3. And we will have its height be 5. Oh. Really? Fine, it will be 10, and our width will be 5. Even though that makes 0 sense. I will also turn off polybrush. Okay. So this should be fine. Let's go ahead and hit create. Oh, dang it. Can I do 0 and 0 then? Let's delete this plane. Because I don't actually need my planes to have any sort of divides. Using ads for mobile and analytics and performance for all builds. Yeah, the analytics stuff is actually really, really nice. I do want to get more into that. If you remember, I actually did sort of start to get into that, but I couldn't show too much of it on the stream since they just have a string ID for your analytics key. And if anyone has that, then anyone can look at your analytics. So can't really show that stuff on the stream, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and let's see here. I'm looking for, I actually don't know what I called it. I'm guessing it's tree mountain thing. Not tress. Tree. Okay. Mount. Goody, I have 2 of them to pick from. How wonderful they are both. Okay, here we go. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and grab my material editor. I'm going to grab Forest Mountains and apply it real quick. Oh, oh man. This is going to be interesting. Let's look at this UV editor. Yeah, lots of stuff you don't want to stream. Oh yeah, and the Steam developer account stuff. Yeah, you definitely don't want to. Well, yeah. I mean, most of that is password fields, if I remember correctly. I haven't looked at that in forever. I probably should. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm actually going to have to drag this off to the left so I can see what it looks like here. But I'm thinking I'm going to want to half this. Yep, and half it again, which of course it won't let me do. 0.25. Can I give it a... It doesn't look like it has an offset, but it's clearly not correct. So let me try. Really? 3 point... Oh, crap. Seriously? 3.75. Okay, fine. What are we looking at here? I think I actually want to have it about one more time. So 125, 0.125. Oh geez, no, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be odd. Ugh, gross. Let's see. Yeah, no, I mean the Steam developer stuff is pretty locked down. They just do not want you talking to anyone about it. And I honestly never understood why they were so crazy about that. Okay, maybe I should change this from tile fit. No, I probably don't want to do that. Let's see. I don't even know how to do this really. I guess we'll try doing this roughly. Because part of this challenge is it needs to actually be tiled perfectly, otherwise it's not going to be fun. Okay. 0.001. Nope, clearly not. That doesn't even... Oh, wait, no, okay, I got it. 0.1, 0.1. Aha! Okay. That seems to be about right. Probably go down a little bit more to there. And nope, I gotta go up a little bit. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I think 0.1 is an exact fit, which means that if there's any bleed on either side, it's gonna look ugly as hell. And let's just see. Yep, you can see the part of the mountain coming in from the top. Can't do it that way. Boo. So let's go ahead and select this again. And I will just move it down very, very slightly. And ta-da! Cool. Alright, last thing to do is just quickly generate a UV2. Let's go ahead and do that. Rebuild selected UVs, and boom! There is our tree wall. Alright, so let's move this off somewhere after it saves for the obligate 10 seconds. Let's just move you way over here. Alright. And of course, last thing to do is say Tools, Pro Builder, Export, and then Export Asset. Alright. Create folder, walls, and boom. Okay, now we can go back and real quick, let's go ahead and add a mesh collider, and that's pretty much all I needed to do there. Casting will probably be two-sided, and that's about it. Okay. All right, 10-second long save time. Let's go back to the woods. And there we go. And now I can close my UV editor, close my shape tool, and also go back to my generic dev layout. All right. Where are my... What the heck is happening here? Okay. Perception is very odd here. So we're going to have a couple of things. One is, let's open this up, go to environment, go to entrance, and buffer. All right. So I'm going to go to add a new sub-object here. It's going to be ground. Let's grab all these things. They're going into the ground. And then we'll have a new one called walls. All right, and the walls are going to be where our forest walls go. Assuming I can find them. There we are, tree wall. Okay, so now we can move you to here. We're just kind of going to work our way down. So, and then this one's going to get kind of weird. And the nice thing about the walls is, unlike the rest of the level, I don't actually have to, or I can actually rotate these guys. So I can do that. Duplicate you. Duplicate you. Okay. And we're going to do a couple of things to make sure that this ends up looking correct. First things first, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate these guys. Duplicate. Scroll them all the way to the edge. Stop that. Okay. And we're going to duplicate you. Duplicate. We're going to rotate you by -90. To here, duplicate, and duplicate. Alright, so now when we look at this, we see a very, very obvious aisle. We are going to get rid of this, and we're going to change this path N down into a regular path Z. So there's going to be a straight path Z. And this is where it's going to get fun. I'm just going to drag you guys over there. And we're going to delete this path end down. Because, obviously, I can't have it end if you're supposed to walk off into the distance. Alright. Let's grab you. I'm going to duplicate you real quick. Drag you into the ground. And then I'm going to get rid of the trees. I don't think I'll actually need them for this. Okay, one more. Well, two more. Now one more. Alright, so now let's take a look at this. See what this looks like when you're actually on the ground. Hit save, and boom. Alright, and I saw the release on Steam. Garrett, congratulations. Oh, right, I teleported. So I can probably turn teleportation off. That doesn't look terrible. I could probably stick trees in there, just to not have it feel completely flat. But it looks fine. Looks like things are a little more narrow than I would like. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to mark these things static. Oh, yeah, let's do that real quick. Tree wall, static, except for, let's see. I don't think there's anything really that they don't need to be static, so they can be completely static. Hooray! Nice and easy. One day I hope to join you in releasing a game on Steam, but I have no idea how long that will take. Because I said this year that it was going to be out by next summer, and I meant it at the time, but I do not know if that's possible. Ah, damn it, it's still popping in. Right there, you can see it in the distance to the right. And directly in the center. I might need to expand one more row. So that basically I do have that 3. That would mean that it would become a 6x6. Oh god. How big is it now? Because I might honestly just need a 9x9 grid before everything starts to become seamless, which would suck. I'm actually curious. I don't know how big this is. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That seems about right. Problem comes from, well, the fact that these guys are becoming a little annoying. So I make the center here. So I might need a center zone that's not 5x5, but rather is 6x6. Or more likely, 7x7. Because that would put me about 3 from anywhere. Which would bring my total to about 13x13 in total of... jeez. Yeah, no, that's one of the nice things about finishing a game. I guess I can't say finishing a game from experience, but I can say ending work on a project is moving on to a new thing. Because, fresh soil. You can do anything you want with it. So, real quick, I'm just kind of curious to see what this looks like. Oh, right, it's not going to wrap properly. Let's try... So yeah, before I can do anything really, before I break things down into their more granular teleporting, I do need to be able to get at least some base functionality out of this. And the difficulty is going to be in this area, the freaking angle path, because there's nowhere else that an angle path exists. I mean, there is in the entire level, but not in this section. That makes things very, very difficult. Let's see. So I guess I could do... Yeah, that's the other thing is, by making the level larger, I'm not actually making it better designed. I'm just I'm accommodating not technical limitations, physical limitations, I guess, of sight. Before I forget, I do want to check my stats here. How many set Pascal? See, yeah, we're starting to get pretty big. Yeah, 300 is not an acceptable amount. Now, to be fair, actually, this is a non-baked map so far. I might do a quick test bake on my lighting just to see what it looks like. So let's do 256 compressed to blah blah blah. Real time skybox, that's fine. Hit OK. Ambient color. Do I want to change that? Screw it. Let's just do a quick build. This shouldn't take too long. All right, because I don't even think I have. Yeah, I don't have ambient occlusion on, so this shouldn't be crazy. But all of those. The nice thing about having this level be pre-generated is that I can bake everything, light-wise or light map-wise, which makes it a lot more performant. So I'm curious to see what this ends up being. We were hovering about 300 set pass calls, so hopefully after a bake it'll be a lot more manageable. Um, and yes, to answer your question, it's no longer going to be generated at runtime, which kind of sucks. But to be fair, it's not like I was doing procedural generation before. I was just dynamically swapping them out. Um, I was trying like before I started work on this version of it. So back when we originally started the warping, I was sort of doing it at runtime in the sense that I was spawning sections at runtime, but I don't know if I actually need to do that because that's interesting from a like technical standpoint, but it's not necessarily something that's actually going to help with the game's design, um, or the level's design, I suppose. Mostly because, well, everything goes on a set path anyway, and all I was doing was just spawning in 3 rows of a ground type or despawning 3 rows of a ground type. Um, so, it was a little bit more interesting from a technical perspective, but this I think is going to be a little bit more efficient. At least I hope it will. The real question, well, see, actually, you know what? It might not end up being that. I might end up having to go back to doing real time sort of visualization because otherwise I will have to render all of these things. Um, and I really don't need to render anything outside of a 3x3 grid around me. Um, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this bake ends up being performant wise, which hopefully won't take 10 minutes. I'm really hoping that after this initial couple hundred jobs is done, that it'll just be fine. Um, but yeah, I'm not. For now, I'm not planning to do it at runtime. If it becomes an issue of culling where I just have to do it, then I will figure out how to do it. I will figure out how to make this performant and spawn in 3x3 sections, and it'll actually be good to know that earlier rather than later, which is partially why we're focusing on the entrance level or the entrance section for today. Because if I can't get the entrance section to work, then I cannot get all of the other sections to work. Because the entrance section has all of the exit types that the other sections will have. So we will see. But yeah, the most difficult one, well, the most difficult spot currently is going to be this angle because I need to be able to teleport you back to a point where you can see the exact same thing if you're looking back, and that's not exactly easy because there is no other point like that, which means that I kind of need to expand my uh, well, shit. Here's the other problem. Um, if I'm not careful with this angle, when you teleport, it'll look like you're not moving, like at all, which could be very, very problematic. Um, oh God, it might not even be. I might have to redo how I lay these things out, actually. Um, which I might. You know what? I bet I could move this T down by 1 and move the rest of these things down by 1 as well, which would give me a little bit more breathing room. Because then I wouldn't have to teleport from the left over here to the left. Oh shit! No, I would totally have to teleport. Damn it! Dang it! Oh, because I got the wall, and I have to keep the wall there, which means that teleporting over here has to take you over here. Or I could just have it sort of loop you, but that would not be fun. And that would not work because you could just turn around and see the path. So not an option. Um, if everything is using the same material, it should be one draw column very fast. Right. Well, we'll see what it ends up being. Because, like I said, I hadn't baked it yet, and everything is a substance and a transparent substance on the trees at that. So hopefully it won't end up being too bad. Uh, but yeah, like I mean, it doesn't make sense for me to be say standing over in this section and rendering something way over here. Like why I can't see that. There's zero reason for that to be there. Um, so spawning this stuff in real time would be cool and would be way more performant. And I might be able to come up with a way that actually takes the grid and determines what you should and should not, like what should and should not be spawned in, but we'll end up seeing. Right, and the real test, honestly, for this forest level now is going to be the my laptop, because my stress test has always been as long as my laptop can run it, then I'm okay with performance. And ideally, as long as my laptop can run it at 1080p, 60 frames per second, then I'm fine. Now, I don't know how accurate that's going to be anymore because my current laptop it's like a 2015 MacBook Pro laptop, so it is new, fairly new hardware. It's a Mac, which means that it's not top of the line hardware, which is kind of nice, but it is good hardware, I suppose. Um, kids, and this is why we don't bake light maps on the Devstream, because we end up sitting here for 5 minutes. Let's see. Well, while we're doing nothing, let's see. World wrapping for incorrect paths or wandering. World wrapping to the next section on the correct path. Woods edge wall. I do have that. And if I remember, it's Control Alt 5. Darn it. No. It's Control Shift 5, isn't it? There's a way to do freaking strike through. Alt Shift 5. Dang it. I knew it was something. Alt Shift 5. There we go. Got that done. But yeah, transparencies, and I'm a little hopeful that it won't be too bad, but especially once it's baked. But we will end up seeing, because it could very, very easily get terrible performance-wise. And currently, the game that runs on my laptop is it can do 720p 60 frames per second. I'm honestly not entirely sure why it's chugging along. Part of it is I'm guessing that it's because I haven't really done an optimization pass, so I'm sure that there are quite a few things that are kind of imperformant. And of course, it is trying to render. I'm pretty sure it's trying to render at least 1K textures, which is the standard medium texture size. Actually, no, it's not trying to do 2K. It's definitely doing 1K. In addition to doing some post-processing effects, which might bog things down on laptops. 68 jobs, we're so close. I think I have one of those too. Got it from Mac Development. Vidcard is an AMD, kinda not great. Runs well. Yeah, and that's well. See, I'm also. I'm also of the mind, like, again, it's a text-based adventure. Sure, it's probably the most graphically intensive text-based adventure you've ever played, but it's also a text-based adventure, and that means that it should be able to run on a figurative toaster. Because I don't want to exclude people who don't have good computers, especially because of the nature of the game. I mean, originally when I first started this game's development, I was developing off of a MacBook, like 2010 MacBook Pro laptop. And I could run it fine then. And of course, the real problem came in when I started switching over to Substance. That was by far the most intensive moment because I switched from just having diffuse color maps to albedo, normal maps, metallic maps, glossy smoothness maps, and that just physically based rendering is way more intensive. So Who knows? I do have options to help improve performance already in place. You can turn down the texture size, which helps a lot. You can turn down the anti-aliasing, which doesn't really exist currently, but you can turn it down. Um, you can turn down some of the other post-process effects. You can turn down shadow draw distance, which helps a lot. Yeah, mobile toaster. Yeah, see that's God. Trying to test for mobile sucks, especially testing for Android. At least with iOS, you have some idea. Actually, not even an idea. You have a pretty knowledgeable understanding of what your consumers are going to be using. But with Androids, it's just like, oh yeah, no, it could be literally anything. And if you want it to work on that stuff, you'd better make sure it's just optimized to run on the worst one. Uh, but we'll see. Unfortunately, I don't have to do anything like that. I can just use my Mac as a bench test or a benchmark and say, like, if it runs well on the Mac, it's going to run well on desktop. And also, by extension, it will probably run better on Windows machines. And then, of course, once Metal gets more broad support, maybe Metal will help with rendering speeds. I'm honestly not sure, but we'll see. Oh man, this light map is taking way longer than it should have. Probably because of all of the trees. Let's see. How many trees is this? Oh, God. It's about 3 trees per square, I think. 3 trees per square. 3 trees per square. And what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8 by, let's say, 10. Oh dear, that's a lot of trees. DirectX 12 in Unity. I actually don't even know if I have. I mean, surely I do have DirectX 12 support. Let's go to project settings, player. I guess it's an auto graphics API for Windows. I could probably uncheck this. Hopefully it won't break anything. Interesting. I wonder why DirectX 12 isn't on here. Surely I have it. I will look at that once the light map is done baking, because I'm actually kind of curious to see if I have DirectX 12 support. Surely my computer can support it. My graphics card is a 980, and my operating system is Windows 10, so I would be kind of annoyed if I couldn't support DirectX 12. I don't really need it, but it would be cool to have. Oh man. Oh. Huh. That's interesting. Didn't they have a auto graphics API for Linux before? Maybe they took that off in 5.5. It was there in 5.4. That's weird. Okay. So here's where it's going to get fun. Let's go ahead and save this scene. And let's see how performant this is now. Oh my god, set Pascals did nothing. Probably because they're all transparent. Oh dear. Yeah. So just out of curiosity, let's see. Hero look object. Let's shorten the distance culling to, oh, I don't know, 400. No, let's go to 100. Because you'll notice that you cannot tell at this distance. In fact, I could probably drop it another, oh, I don't know, 50. Yep. And somehow that's worse. Really? No, that's better. Okay, never mind. Basically about there. So about 35. You can't even tell that Like you can't tell that it's culling because of the fog. Um, so the lazy way of doing this would be to change my clipping planes when I get into the forest, because like I mean, just look at that. That just cuts it down so much. And obviously, it's never going to be less foggy. Although, speaking of fog, I totally forgot. I need to put my fog particles back in. Right, yeah, the set pass calls just, they tanked. Well, I guess they did. That's weird. Tanked logically does mean that there's less of them, but it also means usually worse. But in this case, less is better. So anyway, the set pass calls just really went down. So, I mean, this is by far the quickest way for me to do it. And just trying to look at it, make sure that it's not culling anything, right? No, it all seems fine. So, setting the clipping planes to about 35 seems to be fine. And it keeps our set pass calls below 50 even. Like our most intense, I think, was 47. Somewhere around here. Right about there. So that's promising. Gotta love performance stuff. Okay. I might, I might do that, I guess, as a quick and easy way to get around this problem. Let's see. So let's go to our woods manager real quick, and I'm gonna fix a couple of errors that we were getting. Mostly just gonna get rid of. Let's see. There should be an awake spawn section. Turn that off. And let's just say, let's see, post-process controller. We're going to enable fog. Let's go to global. Come on. I really should rename this to something else. Hero. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, that's fine. Hero. Camera. Do I have a reference? I don't remember. Nope. Apparently I don't. Peak definition. Definition on the player. Right. It is. Huh. Do I really not have a reference to that? That's kind of weird. I always thought I did. Alright, well, let's close you up real quick. Get rid of you and hit save. I'm going to spawn my player in and make sure that I don't have something already referencing it. Because it's always fun to go back and look at like old, incredibly old code that you don't remember how you wrote it. Yeah. Yeah, I think for now I'm just going to shorten the culling distance so that it just culls everything out. I mean, honestly, that's the cheapest and the fastest way to do it. Because then again, doing things that way, I don't have to worry about. I don't have to worry about trying to spawn things in as I go because I'm just not going to have them be cold, or they're just going to be cold automatically. So main camera. Let's see, look object. Huh, yeah, no, I just never really referenced my camera apparently. Really interesting. All right. Well, might as well put that in there for the player. I mean, I could just cheat and say camera.main, but I don't like doing that. Because, I don't know, it could be other main cameras for some reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and come up here, and we're going to say public camera, main camera. Then we can change this. Let's go to our woods manager. Scroll down here. We're going to say global dot hero dot main camera dot, let's see, what was it? I think it was mask. Let's type clip, near clip, or far clip plane is equal to, I'm going to say 35 for now. But I'm also going to come up here and we're going to say public float new clip distance equals 35F. I'm actually just going to shorten that to clip distance. And then we're going to have a private reference here, which is going to be private float cached clip distance equals, I will say 0F for now. And then before we do anything, we're just going to say camera hero cam equals, I'm just going to move this stuff in, mostly so I don't have to constantly say global.hero. Alright, and then we're going to say hero cam.farClipPlane equals that, and cached clip distance equals hero cam.farClipPlane, and this is going to be clip distance. Alright, so now when we start, after I drag in the player prefab and make a quick change, we will have much better performance than we were having. We'll have 40 set pass calls instead of 400. Let's see here. So we're going to go to models. Nope. Prefabs. Here we go. Player, hero. Drag this in. Yeah, I know you're going to complain. Drag the main camera in right there. I'm going to hit apply. Drop you. Save. And let's see what our stats are. Yep, there we are. 45. And if we select our hero, yep, incredibly tiny view plane, or clip plane. But, again, since we have fog, you cannot even tell. Oh, right, the teleportation. Oh, that was interesting. Why did it teleport me way over? Oh, wait, no, that's correct. It would do that. Alright, so the next thing I think is going to be getting the actual warping to be seamless. And for that, we will unfortunately, I think we are going to need a 9x9 grid with a buffer of 3x3. Jeez, that's 15 by 15 squares. That's a lot of trees. God, this is going to suck. Okay, well. Actually, yeah, fine, okay. As I say, you know what, maybe I could do that later off the stream and then instead focus on getting wrapping between the sections to work now. But the problem is, like, doing that requires me to set up the modular wrapping, which is kind of not going to work. Or rather, it would work, and then I would have to redo it again. So I guess I kind of do have to just really quickly do a 9x9 grid. So currently our center is this. Okay. Jeez. So much fun. How do I want to handle this? I think, you know what? No, I don't. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. We'll try it and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we're going to go to our buffer and we're going to just go ahead and move our walls down by quite a lot. Right about you. Is that correct? I might need to move it back up one. Boom. Okay. So that's where our walls are going to be. Oh man, you know what the bitter irony of the fact that we baked a light map and we had such high light counts is, and I just remembered this. I forgot to turn my light onto a baked light, so that time we spent just baking lights was totally worthless. It meant nothing because we baked no lights. We baked 0 lights onto a giant light map. Go figure. So not only was it a waste of time, in the sense that, you know, I couldn't do any work while it was going on, but it was also a waste of time in the sense that it did nothing. It literally was a worthless bake. Jeez, sometimes I hate myself. Okay, well, in any case, let's go ahead and get rid of these 3 guys, and Light baking is a lifestyle. You have no idea. Well, maybe you do actually. I'm not sure how much. Did you do any light map baking for 1D? It seemed like a game that would handle real-time lighting a little bit better. But yeah, no, I mean I went as far as making a freaking custom light map baking thing that lets me bake all of the light maps in my build all at once, so I can just check off the levels that I want to build and then say, okay, have at it. I'm curious. Interesting. I haven't tested this in forever. I might actually want to test this tonight. Make sure that this light map baking menu still works. Because it was super fun when I did have it working. Certainly made things a lot easier for me. Anyway, I didn't do any light mapping. Didn't do any light mapping. Everything's around flying. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So now we're going to add. Let's see. Let's go to ground. See, what's funny is that basically I'm going to. Oh God, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to grab all of this stuff except for the very outermost layer. So this is going to be fun. Oh no, it tried to select the trees individually. Because of course it did. Okay. Select all of this. God, this is going to suck. The reason I'm not doing this is because if I just add the inner two chunks here, then I will actually have a grid of 9 by 9 for the center. And then this outer layer will be the first layer of the new outer layer. And the new buffer zone. Right? I'm not crazy. 5 by 5. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Okay, good. Not crazy. So that means that this stuff kind of just moves into the center now. All right. The lights don't move though. Yeah. Honestly, there's still a lot of lighting techniques that I need to get in here. Like I have HX lighting, which, you know, after messing around with it, if you saw the stream a while back when I started messing around with it, like it's really cool, but it's also something that I need to take the time to properly set up, which is going to be fun. Pretty sure I played around with it, but didn't make a difference in look at performance. Well, and the other thing is like for baking lighting, the only things that are affected by baked lighting are static objects, which 1D doesn't really have a lot of, I would assume. So it doesn't even make sense to do that. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna have fun here. Duplicate you, move you down, duplicate you, move you down, and duplicate you, move you down. Okay, so that's about right. And then, oh geez, this is where it's gonna get crazy. Da-da. Okay, so now we can duplicate you, go down to here, duplicate you. Of course, it's gonna keep teleporting all over the place. Duplicate you. And boom. Okay, so that's our new 9 by 9 interior. Of course, which has no lighting because it's annoying like that. So it's noticeably darker. But it is also spaced enough that you can't see the path. So now, if I were to highlight the center, and let's recalculate the bounds here. Boom! It's way more massive. No static objects at most 3 lines. Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are easier to promote if it looks well or if it looks good. go ahead and fill out the rest of these guys and then pad them. Over here. All right. Have one over here. Duplicate this and duplicate this. Oh my god, this is just so many individual sections. All so I can have a tiny area. The original map was like that big. Just itty bitty space. But I have to have all of this padding to make it work properly. Talk about efficiency. Okay. So let's look at you. I'm going to grab all of these guys and duplicate them. Drag them out. Crap. Well, I guess that's not too bad. Okay, so we gotta duplicate you. Bring you out to here-ish, it looks like. Is that correct? That seems correct. Yep. Aha! And before we do anything else, I'm just gonna go ahead and drag you over to here and duplicate this guy. Boom. Alright, one more layer on that, and we have 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And then we should have a perfectly freaking warpable without causing issues zone. Alright, so again, just come over here. Oh good, there's 2 that didn't quite make it. Duplicate you. God, I would hate to see the stats for this level right now because I'm pretty sure it would drive me insane in terms of how inefficient it is. Of course, since we have culling now, and I did not have to do much to get that culling to work, it might actually not be that bad. Still, it disgusts me as a professional because I feel like I should be able to do better. What are you going to do? Alright, so next thing is going to be getting these guys. Optimize last. See, that's a terrible way of thinking, because if you optimize last, then you have a lot of performance problems along the way. But if you optimize while you're going, this one was nice, I like this one, it was nice and easy, then you don't have to worry about that stuff. Alright. Last one is going to be this monstrosity. Let's grab duplicate, drag it up. Here's where it gets fun. So I'm actually going to delete you, move you over to here, and move you guys over to here, and duplicate you. Okay, one more. Alright, now duplicate. And just to double check, make sure that it's on the right plane. Good, good, good. Grab these 2 guys, slide them over one, and duplicate this one, and finally! Ugh! Okay. Let's close this, hit save. I'm just gonna... Oh wait, nope, nope. I almost forgot. I gotta do the, the exit and the walls real quick. Fortunately, the walls are super easy to do. Unless it hurts testing. Yeah, exactly. Never know what you're going to throw out. I guess that's true. And in general, it's not so much that I try to optimize things that I'm working on as much as I just try not to make optimization errors while I'm working. Let's go ahead. Duplicate this guy. Now he is going to go into the ground. Duplicate. And duplicate one last time. Okay. I might leave the trees in there as they are just to have it. Okay. So the last thing this is honestly the last thing before we can actually spawn, is just to move this guy backwards a little bit to about here. Okay. A walled forest. Yeah, so the wall is there because this is the entrance to the forest. So it wouldn't necessarily, I think, make sense for you to just constantly wander. Instead, I would actually like to mark exits of the forest with these walls as a way of saying, like, this is the forest edge and the trees are just super dense here. So you can't actually get out that way. If you want to leave the forest, you have to go down this. Oh, okay. There we go. Okay. You have to go down this very specific path. It's just a little way I'd like to mark the exits of levels. Um, and I really only need this twice, once here, which leads to the plains, and then once again when you get to the grove area. And the other reason that I actually want to do it there is because this serves as a very nice reminder that this leads to a different level. And a lot of criticism that people have had in the forest for the forest level in the past was they felt like the spider was the last thing they needed in the forest. A lot of people didn't think there was anything beyond that. They didn't think that there was a second level past the forest. So I think by seeing this wall, it'll help people realize that there is stuff that they can do, or that there is a actual second level. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes in testing. And look at this. Can you tell which one was light mapped and which one wasn't? I honestly can't. It's just magical. In any case, speaking of magic, I'm going to keep running until... Oh, goody. I can't tell. Yes. There's finally enough buffer space between me and the paths that I don't have to worry about this. And in all honesty, I bet I could shrink this down to like 8x8 instead of 9x9. But, well, it looks like actually I get about 60 now with a frame, or with a clipping plane of 35. Wall of bushes. Yeah, I figured trees would probably just be the nicest way to, convey that. And also, it's a callback to what the forest looks like from the outside. Because if you're in the plains level, or if you're in the Heroes Grotto, this is... I'm sorry, not Heroes Grotto, Heroes Grove. Damn it! Damn you, Legend of Zelda! The Heroes Grove, this is what the forest looks like. It's just flat trees, as opposed to the 3D ones. And that's largely because I wanted to be lazy and not have to, try to have a 3D forest everywhere. So, I am no Elder Scrolls. So, actually, you know what? Just to test. So, if this is where you spawn in, this is my concern. Yeah, that takes a long time before you get anywhere. The problem is if I shorten that too much, then whenever you teleport, you will be able to notice. Crap baskets. Well, okay. I might hold off on tweaking that until I'm off the stream. But for the most part, I mean, this is... The ground is seamless. The warping is seamless currently, depending on where you are, obviously. So let's try going over here. If I just keep going, and eventually I will teleport back and stumble back onto the road, which is fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and try and do contextual warping now. So that means that instead of having one... Oh, my. Okay. Instead of having one TQ warp zone here, I'm actually going to have... I don't remember if I gave these guys an ID or not. I don't think I did. Oh, right, because the warp zone wasn't how it was originally done. Originally it was done with... originally in the original forest I was using like a forest chunk, wasn't I, which was derived from this. But I actually don't need that anymore. I think I can kind of get away with just this even. Okay. Yes, services tab. I know you wanted attention. Um, let's see. So let's get rid of this. And this is where it's going to get fun. Because I have to place it on oh god, every single one of the edges here. Yeah. Hooray. Okay. Well, let's just get it over with. And actually, you know what? To make it super easy so I don't accidentally select the buffer. There we go. Which it looks like I was about to do. So let's just double check. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yep, 9 by 9. Oh yeah, I definitely think I. Well, nope. Well, nope. I actually can't get rid of it. I have to have a 9 by 9 grid here. I was hoping I could shave off like one of these rows, but if I do that, and let's say you were walking on this side, I would have to teleport you back here, which would place you too close to this if you're. Oh, dang it. Well, we'll see. All right. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and grab you. Bup, 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 you are physically impossible to reach, aren't you? Okay. Didn't even think about that. Some of the corners will actually not even need the warp zones because they cannot be reached. Yep. All right. So that is all of the guys in the warp zones, and for convenience, I'm actually going to. Dang it. Okay. Whew. I didn't mean to click on that. I'm actually going to drag these guys out here. And I'm going to make a new sub-object called warp. Come on. And we're going to place these guys underneath that, just so that I can have a very specific warp group that I can easily access. And that, of course, will eventually include this path here, which I might as well go ahead and drag in there. All right. So now I can select all of these guys and add a, let's see, TQ wrap zone. Of course, I made it so that multi-object editing is not a thing, because I'm stupid like that. But I can turn off mirroring on one of them and then copy this before pasting its values on everything. Base component values. And I can just make sure that that's correct. Good. It is. Oh dear. Oh, actually, no, that's fine. Make sure that these are triggers. Okay. And you know what? I wonder if this will work. The answer was no. It will not work for some unknown reason. Will it work on an individual level? No. What the hell? Why are you weird? Well, 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 that's not at all annoying. 5 by 5. I feel like, okay. Well, let's go ahead and edit the script then. Okay, fine, we'll go to the warp zone. Not find all references, go to definition. There we go. Let's see. New bounds, calculate bounds. Get components and children, measure and blah, 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 blah. It's not, I mean, it's not grabbing the wrong thing. Measures dot bounds. Just out of curiosity, so let's give it a center of 5. Daisy of 5 as well. That is super weird. I don't quite understand why it did that, but okay. I'm just going to copy and paste this for now. I'm curious as to why that's messed up like that. Let's paste component as new. Oh, no, don't paste component. Paste component values. Whew, I was like, oh god, why? Okay, so there we go. We now have a... Nope, what the heck? Why are you... Okay, one random Oh! I know why. It's because of their pivots. I'm guessing. So this one needs to have an x of -5. Because their pivot points are not in the center. Eey, that's not super great. Well, in any case. Looks like all of our triggers are lined up, fortunately. Okay. Now, here begins the long process. It's gonna suck. Okay, I'm gonna rename these to be a little bit more consistent, I suppose. So we're gonna go in a clockwise formation from the bottom left, going 1 unit at a time. We're just gonna start naming them appropriately. God, this is gonna suck. Da, 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 da. 4. Oh my goodness, this is not going to be fun. Okay, I might do this a little bit later. There's no real reason for it, aside from my own sanity. And this is going to suck. So we're just going to kind of cheat. Okay, so starting off, we are going to wrap X. We won't wrap Y, and actually before we do anything, let's go ahead and copy this and apply it to everything. So paste component values. Okay. Let's see. We're not going to wrap Y because we don't need to. And we will, depending on what thing we're on, we will wrap Z or X. In these cases, I'm actually not going to need to wrap Z. So boom. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this component. We're going to paste it on all of these guys. Who actually, this last one will need to wrap Z. Oh dear. Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, let's come back here. I'm gonna grab these guys. Yeah, that's fine. We're not gonna wrap Z on that guy either. Okay, then we're gonna paste component values and just double check. Not gonna wrap Z. Good. Let's see. Now the trick is we don't want to wrap at every Z. Oh dear. Oh god. We'll see what happens. I'm a little worried that that's not going to play nice. Well, for the time being, let's do it. Let's start off easy. Let's just make sure that this corner piece wraps. All right, so it's going to wrap X, and it is going to need to teleport to, let's see, min X, which is going to be grass 56. Oops, come on. All right. So grass 56 will be its min X, and its max X. I don't remember if I rotate the player to face backwards after warping. No, I don't actually care about that. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and test this one section here. Oh my... Oh, okay, I was going to say, why are my batches so high? It's like, oh wait, no set pass calls. What happened? What happened to my... Oh, it's kind of hard to test that, isn't it? I probably should turn on my actual buffer. Otherwise, I would not be able to tell if I was teleporting correctly or not. All right. So let's see here. Da, 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 da. Oh, that was a lot. Uh-oh. I was right. I'm trapped. No. Okay. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Come down here, and let's see. It's not buffer anymore. It's warp. Come down here to 1. And I guess let's give it itself as its max X wrap. No. Oh, jeez. Oh, dear. Do I need to have wrapping on an individual level? I actually don't remember if I already had this with Woods Chunk. Nope. Woods section. Yeah. Okay. Boo. So I'm going to have to come back in and refactor this a little bit. Because I need to basically have it so that I can wrap one way in the X, but not the other. So, all right. Let's go ahead and remove this component. Okay. Well, I mean, we do have wrapping working, sort of, you know, kind of way. But I mean, everything is seamless for the most part. So I'm going to say that's probably a good place to stop tonight, mostly because the rest of the stuff I need to do tonight is either A, tedious, or will take a lot longer than I have, and I would prefer not to have another 3-hour stream, or another 4-hour stream like we had that one time. So I think that's probably a good place tonight to end the dev stream. Thursday we'll be back. We'll probably be working on this again, but hopefully by then I will have a good layout set up for this. So our entrance, hopefully by then, will be perfectly functional. Actually, let me check my warp section around here. Yeah, that actually should be possible. And hopefully we'll have the next couple, or at the very least the next section loading, as well as leaving the area and going back to the plains and whatnot. So yeah, that's a pretty good spot to end for the night. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. As always, I will see you all next time.